Hello everyone, my name is Chen. Welcome to 5 Minutes Sermon. Today I would like to share with you based on the Luke chapter 16 verses 1 to 9 with the topic Turning from the Oppressor to Reliever. In Luke chapter 16 verses 47, we see dishonest manager overcharging the debtors of his own profits. Only when he lost his job he realized that he became the poor as the debtors. He realized the struggle of the poor. This experience led his heart changed and repented. As a sign of the repentance, he called the debtors one by one and reducted their debts. We could imagine how joyful are the faces of the debtors when they heard about this good news. Therefore, in Luke chapter 16, verse 9, Jesus said, "And I tell you, make friends for yourself by the means of dishonest wealth, so that when it is gone, they may welcome you into the eternal homes." The repentance made the dishonest manager turn from the oppressor to reliever. Repentance made the manager to undo what he had done. Therefore, Jesus promised that the house of God will open its gate and welcome him in. 100 years ago, the colonizer and the missionaries brought Christianity to the indigenous community in Taiwan. Gradually, indigenous people were converted and a church was established in all the indigenous villages. Years after, missionaries either passed away or left Taiwan. The only thing remained after they have gone, which deeply rooted in the indigenous churches, is the colonized mentality. The church started to exclude themselves from their community, refused to practice in tribal traditions, demonized and discriminated indigenous costumes, songs, forms, and religious traditions. The church became the oppressor of their own people. The church became alienated from their own community life. However, by the changing of the time, enhancement of the knowledge, awareness of self-identity, rediscovery of their selfhood, the new generations of the indigenous people started to fight for their rights and identities through the social movement in the major cities. In the same time, they fought against the church's discriminatory practice in the communities and attempt to restore their traditions. Consequently, this created a tension between the local community and the church. Like the dishonest manager, it was in the moment indigenous church realized that due to the lack of the attendance of younger generation and the tension in community, some churches were forced to close down in the remote area. Today, the situation even worse, for there are more than 50% of the indigenous population in the major cities now. How could we solve such a kind of problem? Perhaps, just like the dishonest manager in Jesus' parable, he put himself in the shoes of the debtors and honestly do his best to make it up his mistakes. The ministers and the leaders of the indigenous churches in Taiwan should have the courage to admit that we have done wrong in demonizing and discriminating our own people, culture, and traditions in the past. The repentance should lead to a dialogue initiative based on the respect and openness to the communities and the churches. Moreover, the church should practice or mobilize indigenous people and solidarity of the others support to intensify our fight against the unjust system, which includes returning our lands, rights, identities in solidarity. By doing so, we may find turning ourselves from the oppressor to the reliever, and hope that one day we all will be welcome in the house of God. Amen.